If you are out there watching right now, it's going to take just a second for us to get going because I forgot to make a post beforehand on Blue Sky. So I'm doing that right now, but we'll be with you in just one moment. And we are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. My name is Tony Vicinda. I am Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. Our hope here is to help connect amazing designers with great players who love their games and amazing players with great designers whose games they can love. We do that in a lot of different ways, but once a month, we sit down with some special guests to talk about what is happening in the business of RPGs. This could be events or projects that are coming out that we're excited about. But we want to start out with our guests and what they are working on right now. Today we're talking about I don't know, like mixtapes, Mork, Borg, and more as we get in here. Going to dive a little bit into the role of music in RPGs, but by looking at a very specific project that I've been really excited ever since. I think Yamil is the first one who talked to me about it, pitched it to me. But for folks who don't know y'all, why don't you each introduce yourselves and then awkwardly figure out who's going to pitch Tales from the Tape Deck to our audience. Ahmed, why don't you go first for introductions?
All right. I'm Ahmed Safri. I write, design, and layout and all. I do all the little bits of stuff that entrepreneurs end up having to do until they can pay somebody else to do it. So I do all of that. I'm also a woodworker, and I make TTRPG accessories, dice boxes, and dice towers, and that kind of stuff too.
Awesome, Yamil.
Yep, I'm Yamil. I'm an editor, writer, see, what else am I doing in this project? I'm doing a little bit of art. I'm doing a little bit of music, um, and in the past I've worked with Goodman Games. I've worked with Skydawn Game Studios on the Fantasy Star RPG, and a few other things in the indie RPG space.
Awesome. Now, which one of you wants to talk to me a little bit about? Just give me the elevator pitch of Tales from the Tape Deck before we dive in.
All right, elevator pitch. Tales from the Tape Deck is an RPG that fits in a cassette box. And that's when we cue pulling out. Yeah.
Ooh,
This
synchronized.
was the Pirate Borg. This was the Pirate Borg one, but the RPG fits entirely in a cassette case and uses a playlist, a curated playlist, as a timer. And for the Kickstarter, we're doing an original cassette mixtape of original music and licensed music that we're putting together, and it's limited to 200 copies.
Wow, love it. And you only have 97 backers. There's room for at least 103 more people to get up on this. I'm super excited about. I love the pitch from the moment you gave it to me. There's a lot of really cool things happening here. But I'm super excited. I want to hear a little bit more before we get into that about like how this collaboration came together, how y'all got connected, and kind of where this idea kind of built out and came from. So Ahmed, like, how did y'all get started in this project?
So, so I worked for a woodworking company, Dogmite Games, and they unfortunately had to shut their doors. And when they did that, I was able to make some connections, and some individuals were able to offer me volunteer opportunities at game conventions. So I started out going to Gen Con with Rose Gauntlet Games and Rose Gauntlet Foundation, and working with the BIPOC Lounge, and they're all crew. And at one point I had met Yamil there, and then we just kind of had that like ships passing in a night kind of thing. And then fast forward to a Gamehole Con later, I had worked on the Chew RPG with Imagining Games, and Pete had taken me to Gamehole to kind of check it out and see some stuff. We went to a POC dinner, and sure enough, Yamil was there as well. And then that's when we were able to at least link up and start, talking about what each other are doing in the industry and that kind of stuff. So
awesome, love it.
Yeah.
So when did music, like, tell me a little bit about the genesis of this project specifically? Like, when did music become a key thing? Was that like, hey, we want to do a Mork hack, or just work together, or was it like we want to release some epic tunes? Like, how do we do that?
Yeah, so with that one, it was, I went to a local thrift store here in Durham, North Carolina. It's called the Scrap Exchange, and it's mostly tailored to artists of any medium. And when I walked in one day, they had an entire barrel full of empty cassette cases. So just the empty cases, and I was like, oh, like, and everything that I've put out so far, I play with the format. I do, everybody does the one-page dungeons. I did When the Sky Comes Looking for You, where the cover comes off, like the old AD&D modules. And I was like, oh, let's see, like, and I reach out to Ahmed just because we were working on a different project at that time, that we were both hired to work on, and I was like, do you think we could fit a whole like RPG in a box? Like, wait, that way you could like take it camping. That way you can put it in your pocket. Like, you had it like at all times. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And then from there, the music aspect of it, like I was involved in the local hip hop scene here in North Carolina, where like Little Brother came out of this scene. Uh, Rhapsody also came out of that scene. If you know, you know. Like, it just felt like, oh, well. And I listened to a lot of metal. I listened to a lot of different music, so I was like, I can make like a mixtape for this, and reach out to all my friends that are still in the music industry. And yeah, and it kind of like snowballed from there. We kept thinking of movie soundtracks and different. We kept pitching each other different ideas of which one would be the first volume, and that's what we call the adventures. So that's how we ended up with 4 volumes on the uh, initial Kickstarter. And
Ooh.
Ahmed, if you want to jump in, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it was originally supposed to be 3, but then we had this weird mix up of like, oh well, we're gonna do one for our quick start, and then I was like, well, we already have this much done of this one. We should just make that another volume, and then it became 4. And yeah, so we started there with that idea. We started infusing and putting music into it, and somewhere along the road, music as the timer became an aspect, and then a lot of other things revolve around that, and not necessarily making the mechanics the bad guy when it comes to a timer. So we found that at its base, that OSR feel where you're not using skill checks, you have a set DC or DR or DT or whatever you want to call it. And then we started manipulating and playing around with resources too, because if you have these tokens in front of you and you know what they do, that's a quick action that you can take where it's not an elaborate time sink, especially with a lot of these, a lot of games out now is a 2-hour battle for that kind of stuff. And we fit what, an entire session in 1 hour, multiple times. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of like, hey, can we the more games we can get where the playtime is 90 minutes or less, but really that sub an hour is huge for getting people who are like, oh, like I've never tried an RPG. I don't know if I could play an RPG.
Oh, yeah.
Like just getting them in and being like, even if you don't like it, this is not going to be longer than any board game or card game you've ever played. That you were like, oh, maybe not. Like maybe this isn't for me. But so often, like I think when they go so fast, it really opens people's eyes up to like, oh, this was not a lot. This was not hard. I really enjoyed this. So, tell us a little bit. Like, I want to dive into some of the like the different like the different volumes specifically. But for folks who haven't had a chance to check out the page yet, like give us a sense of kind of the core mechanics, how the game works. Because you mentioned like the deck as a timer also too. What up? Our friends from Tales from Initiative are giving us a raid right now. Hey y'all. Welcome to Intrepid Merchants. We're talking about Tales from the Tape Deck right now. Link is pinned there. We were just diving into a little bit of the mechanics before we start talking about a couple other cool things happening in RPGs this month. But yeah, tell us a little bit about how it works, what the timer function is, and kind of a little bit about what those mechanics look like.
So the timer is the playlist is always 1 hour, and depending on however many times you want to play that and extend your length of play, great. But we recommend 2 hours. You play it for 1 hour twice, so the second time around you know the exact order that things are coming out in, and you can kind of ramp up the tension with like, oh, we've heard this song, we're near the end, we got to get going. Because it's not necessarily the GM's job to regulate the time. And that's always a fun aspect of that too. Standard D20, you're trying to beat a difficulty rating of set of 12, just so that's like I said, another thing that can kind of go unsaid as you're playing quickly and fast paced. And then it's usually some kind of like overarching mechanic or adventure theme within each of the different volumes. So Righteous Ride of the Radicals, our quick start in our volume 1, is like a race. You are ripping down the desert highway against other war rigs, very Mad Max Fallout meets Borderlands style kind of thing. And you're racing these NPCs to a destination of some sort, whether that is a supply drop from the sky or a new destination, or you're trying to deliver,
Guns.
whoever, whatever it is. And then exactly. And we have cool ones with each of the different volumes. We have depth crawls, we have reversed heists, we have point crawls, and these kinds of cool aspects that are dedicated to those volumes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Jamil.
Yeah, and like volume 2, just real quick, volume 2 is Dawn Without a Coffin, where you play as as vampires who have lost their coffins in 1700 New Orleans, and they're trying to hunt them down before dawn, before death. Um, and then there's Detroit City, which Ahmed is based out of near Detroit. Basically,
Oh, yeah.
he's in Michigan.
I'm 30 minutes out. I'm not going to say I'm from Detroit because Detroiters
They'll come
don't want to
after
mess
you.
with that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But I frequent.
Well, and that one is robots have gained sentience, and they're trying to spread that sentience throughout the city for the other robots. That one seems a little bit topical. And then Madness Motel is our fourth volume, and that one is basically our take on The Shining. And yeah.
Awesome. And this has been a mix of like these are mixes of commission songs, licensed music, other things like that. Walk me through one of these and talk about like what it's been like to kind of build the playlist with those partners.
Yeah, yeah. So the ones with the partners is the first volume is Righteous Right of the Radicals. That one's gonna have um, Loot the Body, Weight Shift out of North Carolina, the YouTuber Runehammer. He agreed to let me use some of his tracks. Um, and Colony dropped a Gundam themed metal band out of
Hell yeah.
Seattle that I love their album. So and a few other ones that we'll be revealing. But the process was I just started listening to a lot of John Carpenter soundtracks. And just kind of getting that feel, and then listening to a lot of 80s music. And I wanted to sequence it kind of like, not that the songs or the lyrics are telling a story, but the vibe was telling the story. Where at the beginning you want a strong start, you want to hook the players. Usually when we run at conventions, we start with "Kickstart My Heart" by Motley Crue. For Righteous Ride, we're not licensing that because we're not made out of money.
But for con games, it's fine.
Yeah, for con games, and we can make we want to make suggested playlists where you can choose to play those, and we're not trying to make any money on the streaming. All the streaming goes back to those artists, whether it's Weight Shift or
Motley
I guess
Crue.
Motley Crue. Like I'm just happy to share cool music that I've run into, and so I would just reach out and see if they were interested in being part of the project. The big part is, like I said, the sequencing, but also the time, right? So like all these songs, it's not like they're like perfectly 3 minutes and 5 seconds. No, like they're like all over the place. So making sure we find the right feel and like at the right moment, and that it makes sense. And also I wanted to, with the other ones that are not with collaborators, the ones that we will be giving suggested playlists of readily available music. With that one, we wanted to reward the music nerds, the ones that know that if we put Kraftwerk on there, it's gonna be like an 8 to 12 minute song, and they're like, okay, we got some time, like we know what we want to do, and maybe they can use the tape powers. And I'll let Ahmed speak on that because we haven't really delved into it too much, if that's all right.
Yeah. So each, so the main volumes, the main core game has tape powers in it, and basically what you can do is you can pop the tape, pausing your playlist for some time, giving yourself 3 minutes, and kind of recuperating and gaining some time back on your timer. But then each volume also has a unique tape power for it. So Righteous Ride of the Radicals has the power of turning it up to 11, and you literally turn the volume up on your playlist. And for the next song, everybody has a bonus to all of their rolls, everybody at the table. And then like in Dedroid City, you have a power to rewind a track, giving yourself more time. But if you know, like kind of what Yamil was saying, if you know what those songs are, or if you can remember even from the first time that it looped around what that song or how long it was, that's a benefit for you in that fourth wall kind of breaking of like the real world use of that. So
awesome. Yeah, I don't know if this will land with everybody. I'm a huge fan of the movie Hudson Hawk. Have y'all ever seen Hudson Hawk?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, and one of the best bits is just like in the opening, like he like says this like they're talking through what song. It's a movie about thieves, and they're talking through what song they're going to sing to stay perfectly in sync with one another.
Yeah.
But as soon as you are like, there's a reverse heist one, I was like, that's I mean, like even though it's like that's the immediate like vibe of like, oh, like here's a song that we are using to pace out this thing and drive it forward. And like I said, it's one of my favorite Bruce Willis films. It's a weird piece of 80s culture for people who haven't ever dived into it. Go do it. But like it hits that vibe perfectly of also what y'all are doing in here of like the song as a both a mode of connection, but also as a like mode of timing and all these other things to really drive that. And like from the movie's perspective, they're using it to drive vibes also too when they're doing those things.
Right.
Like they're telling you about the characters also too. I love this. I also love like each of these themes, like you have done something to put them all on a timer diegetically also too. So just that like overwhelming mix of like, hey, it is a trip across a wasteland. Hey, it is like we've got till dawn or we're screwed, right? Like whatever it happens to be, y'all have put them on a timer too, which just again like that kind of diegesis is going to be like something that I think really drives this game forward. Like I'm super thrilled to dive in. I've been excited about the project since we originally talked about it, and it's cool to see like again people playing with that form factor. You know, we'll see people like music is a huge part of like most of our Kickstarters. Every time we crowdfund, music is typically either a flash funding goal, like if we fund right away, or it is a part of the stretch goal process, just because it lets you do a very specific type of like world building that you don't always get to do. And it was working with Loot the Body. That was like on Down We Go. Like that was the first time we dove into like, what are the sounds of this place and how do we want to do it? The Dungeon Synth community, like people who do music for RPGs, are always doing really interesting things with like the form factor, but they're typically just like, I made a dungeon and it's on like, you know, a crossfold thing. And so you flip it out and you can go these different ways. And there's a lot of cool things that have been done with this. This is the first time I've seen a system that's really kind of leaning into it the way that y'all are. The link should be pinned at the top of the Twitch chat also too. Yamil, you won't be able to type it, but I'll drop it in one more time also too for everybody. But yeah, so it's Tales from the Tape Deck for anybody who just joined us. It's funding right now. It's already funded. Do you have any more like stretch goals or other things you're looking to blow out in the original funding?
No, we didn't really. I'm not that big of a fan of stretch goals. Like I like just being like, hey, here's everything we have.
We're doing a really cool thing, full hilt, from the start. Yeah. We haven't looked at the video yet. I'm assuming if I turn this video on, I'm going to get some good music. Is that correct?
I think did you put? I don't remember what the music is.
It's Wizard Eye. No, that's not it, right?
Evil Eye.
Evil Eye. Yeah.
All right.
Let's Roll by Evil Eye.
Cool. Let's check out a little bit of the video real quick.
Welcome to Tales from the Tape Deck, a joint project by Suffity Games and J. Yamil. Tales from the Tape Deck is a rules-light role-playing game that fits in a tape cassette case. It's a ruthless mashup of fast-paced, old-school gaming with a narrative-forward approach. Tales from the Tape Deck was made with easy-to-learn rules that get the game quickly to the table, and with sessions lasting roughly 2 hours. TTD uses a music playlist as a timer for your adventure. The playlist always influences the adventure, and the players can always influence the playlist. We look forward to your pledge. Thank you for helping us make this a reality.
Great short video also. People always want to make their videos too long. Really good use of just like people sitting around a table having a damn good time also too on it. But yeah, kind of leaning off of that, let's talk about a couple other things. There's just a lot of things that are happening in the RPG space this month. There's Gamma. There's some stuff happening over with Kickstarter. There's a ton of cool projects that are launching. I wanted to stick. We all shared kind of some things we were excited about with each other earlier, and I want to kind of stick with audio first as we kind of dive in there. Let's talk a little bit about Lesbians in Space. Was this Yamil? Was this your one of your picks? Do you want to pitch people a little bit about Lesbians in Space, an audiobook anthology that's coming out?
Yeah. So the book itself is already out, and what they're kickstarting, or in this case, they're on BackerKit. They're crowdfunding for is the audiobook versions, and getting a New York Times bestseller, Mary Robinette Kowal, to do the narration. And it's Space Wizard. They're a publisher that's local to me here in North Carolina. They are always trying to give an avenue or a platform for underrepresented folks. In this case, it's the LGBTQ community. And then I have the book, and the tagline, like, where no man has been before. Like, it's just awesome. Like, I just love the attitude that they bring. And there's a lot of like up and coming awesome storytellers from all around, and that kind of, to me, fit the same vibe as Tales from the Tape Deck, where, like, to your point, we're telling stories from a different perspective, right? Where it's vampires trying to find their coffins. Well, like in this one, it's space opera. It's people first contact with aliens. It's living in space stations while being queer. So I just always like to see something like that, get a spotlight.
Awesome. And for some reason, it's not wanting to share this link with everybody. Multi-platform streaming is being homophobic. Looks like it went through to Twitch final. It may go through. Oh man, now it's gone through. No, it went through that time. Cool. Dropped off the extra stuff and got it to go through. No, this was a super cool project when you kicked it over. I also I was super excited to do it. I had not heard about the book before, but I loved the vibes about it, everything as you were sharing it. I also just think more people, and a number of people I know have done this, but like audiobooks for RPGs should also become a more normal thing. I know this is not for an RPG, but like thinking about that type of accessibility is also like such a huge thing, because it's not always easy to get a full translation to Braille. Not everybody who's unsighted or has sight limitations reads Braille, so something that is just audiobook accessibility is such a great thing to kind of dive into. Also too, Ahmed, had you had a chance to check out this project yet?
A little bit. Yamil brought it to my attention, and I just tried to spread it out everywhere as I could while it was still live. I think it was.
It's coming up. It's coming
up.
Oh,
it's coming up.
Yeah,
That's
still
what
coming up.
Yeah. It's 2 weeks from now, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, we I just spread the love as much as I could, but it definitely looks awesome, and I'm excited for it, and I know a lot of my friends are too.
Awesome. Let's keep on going with some other audio things. I want to talk about Behold, who is another RPG audio creator who I just absolutely adore. And they have started their own studio called Sword and Dagger Audio. They may have been doing this for a while, and I just caught up on it via the TikToks. But if you're not if you're not familiar with Behold, they do a lot of work with Many-Sided Media and a whole lot of other folks to just do really cool songs for different creators. And they'll work with people who are not doing RPG stuff, I'm going to assume, but we're always on it to try to get Colin to do a project where it's just like, hey, make some cool songs and let's make an adventure out of those cool songs. So I'm hoping we can get a chance to do something with them. I shared this with y'all earlier, and it's going to be awkward because, I mean, y'all can hit play on it on your sides also too. My favorite song that Behold has ever put out, Yeah, it's my favorite. Is the Your Brain on Portals, which is the theme song for the Slug Blaster series that they did over on Many Sided Media, which they do great work. We've got to work with them on a Hell Whalers AP. They've got some really great stuff coming up later this year. They're doing Perils and Princess right now. But one of the cool things about Many Sided Media that I love is they fully soundscape everything. So it is full, and Brian is like a Hollywood level like sound design artist. Other people do work, not just Brian, on that soundscaping, but like the oversight it does a lot of that. But Behold brings a lot of the music, and so I'm gonna hit play on Your Brain on Portals, and we'll listen. This is about a minute long sample, so we'll listen to the whole thing. But yeah, this is it. Have y'all ever blasted a slug?
Yep.
I think Slug Blaster is probably probably my favorite Forged in the Dark game out of any of them. I think the structuring on it, I think Mikey killed it. Mom and Dad don't understand, Hex. I was so upset when they finished this series just because I loved listening to this song every fucking week whenever they dropped an episode. The vibes are so good for like Saturday morning, like cartoon elements of teenagers like traveling between dimensions and doing like weird hover skateboard tricks and all that stuff. Like Beal just like nailed it with all the vibes. Y'all have slept before. Have y'all run across Behold? Like, is this y'all's first time getting exposed to them?
Yeah, it's my first
time
time
for Behold. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like it. I'm always looking for new music, and looks like they worked with MythWorks too.
So, go ahead.
Yeah. I think they nailed it with that. It definitely feels like Slug Blaster. And every bit of Slug Blaster, feels like that. So I think like that Saturday morning cartoon kind of thing nailed it. Yeah. And MythWorks has been putting out awesome stuff.
Yeah, so MythWorks did a series with Many Sided Media. So like the trick is, if you want Behold stuff, a lot of times if you hire Many Sided Media to do an AP series for you, you will just get Behold music for your game also too. Behold does other stuff totally separately also too, but it's just been really cool to watch them unpack it. My brother has their doctorate in musicology, different types of all of it, but a big focus was on experimental sounds, so making things that are not music. And so we typically just pay my sibling because they're more affordable than almost anybody else to work with. But it's a good chance to just work with my brother and I are 16 years apart, so it's a good chance to just we didn't hang out as adults until like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and we're incredibly close now. It's a good chance to just do a thing together every single time we get a chance to also. But I love when working with Behold and other folks also too. So wanted to shout them out. They're doing some cool stuff. Go follow Sword and Dagger Studio. Go follow Behold. TikTok is probably the main place that I would follow their stuff at, but you use the links judiciously and go check them all out also too. One of the other cool things Behold is doing, I'm going to do a double pitch and then I'll pass things back over, is Orbital Blues Month. They are doing music for each of the projects in Orbital Blues Month. And so this is coming from our friends over at Soul Muppet are hosting it. We have a project called F Infinity, which is like the racing vibes.
Yeah, Formula One.
Yeah. So it's Formula One mixed with like what is Captain Falcon from? You know the thing, that video game. Like racing
F-Zero.
Like F-Zero vibes, like the speed of Cowboy Bebop when they're driving over planets or running things, all kinds of like cool stuff. So we are doing a standalone supplement for Orbital Blues. It'll bring racing mechanics, so you can add it into the Orbital Blues universe however you want. But we've got a bunch of different creators who are doing like different tracks and other stuff like that for it. But Behold did a song for for our F Infinity. They're doing one for all the different projects that are happening. They're all really cool. Super excited about them. We haven't had as much of a chance as we would have liked to do all the promotion we would have liked. So go follow the main Orbital Blues Month. But check out all the projects. Check out F Infinity specifically. Quinn, who's in the chat, is doing a weird swamp planet. So every planet has kind of its own type of racing on it. So it'll be like, hey, what is the formal type of racing? What is the Formula One of this world look like? But then also what is the special track for people who are like blue collar workers. So on the swamp world, it is like swamp boat racing through the back alley. Some of them are about fighting each other. Speed Racer is another huge touchstone for us. So there's the legal on the track stuff, the other types of racing that may come up. I'm a stretch goal. Mine is just a giant gas planet. And so one of them is kind of tractor haul where you're trying to drive a gas harvester across the surface. But the main track is just a plummet through, a gravity plummet through the entire planet, where you can only use thrusters. If you break at any point, you're out of the race. And so it's super cool stuff. Would love to blow it out of the water. Wes Franks, our zine fiend emeritus, is the primary creative on it. Andrew Bowman is doing lead art, but we've got a killer crew of folks who are all working on it. I should get actually that link in a second, but I'll drop the F Infinity link specifically. But for let's transition over to one I'm super excited about it. Ahmed, you brought this one to the table. We also talked about Imagining Games a second ago. Let's give us the pitch for Teenage Ninja Fighting School. I grabbed that link.
So Teenage Ninja Fighting School is honestly it's just that. It's that shonen anime style storytelling, narrative first. And I think some of the cool aspects of it is that it's very rules light. It uses a full suite of playing cards as its resolution mechanic. And then also, I think my favorite part about it is probably the world building, in that you build the setting that you are there at the table with your players. And I've always found that that's just kind of created a really cool amount of buy-in for players in general. And I think when players have buy-in, you end up getting past that third session hump easier than any other time, for sure.
Yeah. Yamil, had you checked this one out yet?
No, this is new to me. But I mean, it looks cool.
We actually played here on stream last night with Brennan. Brennan is the creator, is a Philly local. Pete is a great friend. I just told Brennan when it was going up, anything we can do to help, let me know. And it was a really easy conversation with Pete to make that happen. We got to have Daniel Kwan, who did Wandering Blades and is from Asians Represent, on to play also. Who's when I was we're playing a shonen game, I immediately was just hey, I don't know when we're playing, but if you're free, do you want to play this to Daniel? And they were I'm in. It captures the vibes of a shonen, an anime adventures, incredibly well. The card prompts are tremendous. Also, Richard, our operations head from our work studios, got to play multiple versions of this as a friend of Brennan. So back when it was a dice pool system that didn't work, Richard had played this and was at the table when they kind of cracked how the cards would work in order to make it all happen. So our team is huge excited. So I was thrilled when I saw this on your list. So we got to know, right? There are four playbooks in this game. I got to know from each of y'all, like which one is the you playbook. So we've got the hot shot, supreme confidence and reckless swagger. You know that you're the best, or you'll prove it. The strategist, brains over brawn, plans within plans. Victory comes from thinking ahead and trusting your allies. The persistent, you fall, you bleed, you doubt, and you get back every single time. The meek, you don't believe in yourself, but your friends do, and sometimes that's enough. Which one of those speaks to you? And if you have a favorite anime character who embodies that trope, shout it out also too.
Oh man,
I would say for me, the persistent is definitely the one that speaks to me the most out of those. I played rugby in college. I did professional wrestling. Like, I'm not scared to get hurt. I'm not scared to be the first one to jump in the pool, as it were. In terms of an anime character that embodies that, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know if it's anime, but I feel like Invincible really does that. Like,
it's animated for sure, but yeah.
But like over and over and over again, and just is one of those people that just will not say no to getting back up, kind of thing. That was the first thought I had.
People throughout Chad from Bleach. If my kids were watching right now, they'd be screaming. So it is a regular thing in my house that my children, who are, let me be clear, the youngest is 17 and a senior in high school. So when I say my children, I mean the other adults I live with who just happen to be younger than me. We will watch anime together. So they'll pick it. And then we'll watch through it, and I will just be like, this is basically just Neo Genesis Evangelion. I don't even know why we're watching this. There's only one anime. No, but like right now we're doing Jujutsu Kaisen. We've finished up Hunter x Hunter. But it's really cool to start pulling out the different characters that you do. I'd like to think I'm a strategist. I don't know that that's true, but that is what I played last night. Strategists almost always have a villain arc or are mildly villainous because they tend to be really cold, and I don't think that matches me. I think there is a better chance that I am the persistent also too, where it's just like, cool, that didn't work. Here's a new thing. Like also too. So, I mean, like I said, I'd love to think that's who I am. I had a blast playing the strategist last night, and had like our second combat, like felt, even though some of it was luck of cards, it was like I ramped up my fighting spirit, which is like your HP, and then like sacrificed half of it to be able to demolish a ton of bad guys. Was like almost out. The other two guys ended up knocked out. I had 2 fighting spirit left when we finished the combat. It was super close. It felt tight. It was just absolutely great. Ahmed, how about you? Which one of these character archetypes do you feel like is you?
I think there are certain days, like everything. I think I would probably consider myself a strategist. A part of me wants to consider myself the meek, but I'm trying to avoid that. But I think I would probably play as the meek if we were all sitting down and playing right now.
Yeah.
Just because I like that kind of like comeback in that story arc of self-doubt, and then moving into something that's like you are stronger than your thoughts, kind of thing, would be really fun to play, and I like doing that. But as far as a character goes, oh man, I couldn't tell you. I'm so behind on my anime that it's like I'm like watching Gundam Wing when I'm growing up, in Dragon Ball Z, and then that's all fine. That, but it's I'm trying to get back into it. Trying to I keep talking to Pete in the crew with Imagining Games, and they're like, well, what about this one? And they just throw too much at me, I think.
And you've got to do a good amount of work with Pete also too. We mentioned that earlier. Like, let's just talk about how great Pete is for a second. Pete's the best.
Pete's great.
Yeah.
Pete is.
He texted me today. It was great.
Wonderful.
He told me all about Gamma. It was super fun. He had a good time. He said he missed me. That was nice. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I was able to work with Pete on the TTRPG. I did a little bit of proofreading and stuff like that on the first one because I just came in just as the World Book was kind of getting off on launch, and then I did good chunk of design and writing work on the Tuniverse, which is the world book for it. So
Love it.
It was an awesome time, and I'm very grateful for Pete to take, I knew the comic, and that was what I apparently got my foot in the door. So
Yeah.
Nice.
yeah.
Pete is such a generous person. If you're ever looking for somebody to reach out to and just be like, can I pick your brain? Can I help you out? Like who you can know will both take care of you, like not exploit you, give you opportunities to learn. Pete is one of the best folks in the industry to get that from. Like, just absolutely love any chance we get to work with and support them. So I was thrilled, not because I just because we had played it, but like just knowing how good the game is now. Like I'm so excited to see this get out into people's hands. And Brennan had just done such a great job with the entire game. It runs so smooth and gets all the different storytelling beats you want. So cool. Let's pitch over to One of Us Will Die. Yamil, this was one of yours?
Yeah, so One of Us Will Die, and this is the first one for me. You guys tell me if you've heard of this before, a social deduction role-playing game. And I became aware of it through Lone Colossus Games. Josh, I met him last year at Origins, and it turned out that like we had some mutual friends, and so I stayed in contact. And when he told me about it, that he'd been working with a Filipino creator or designer rather, on this game, it just instantly jumped at me, became an instant follow, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it launching and seeing. Like, I'm really into all those like anything from like Microscope to 10 Candles to Mothership, of course, like anything that mixes what's the one, Dread.
Yeah.
Like there anything that like we can play with the format, and you either have to blow out a candle, burn your character sheet, or burn your whole players your whole manual like in
Like
Mork
Mork Borg.
Borg. Yeah, or throw it in the sea like Pirate Borg. Anything like that. Like let's I guess let's touch some grass, but also like let's do something different.
Yeah, I'm a big Lone Colossus fan. I love what this is doing. Like, I'm a big fan of, I think, solo deduction games. Hidden role games, right? And social deduction games they're some of the best ways to introduce people to role playing who have not played or do not play role playing games. Also, we've talked about this a couple times on the stream, but like because you are going to end up having to inhabit the mindset of whatever role you have taken on in some very specific ways, you get a little bit of role playing like mixed in with the actual like just social deduction aspect of it. And so seeing somebody finally push into that a little bit more intentionally and deeply, like I absolutely love. I love seeing this as a option. I also love like they've got Cassie Walker on here, who like is a therapist who specializes in trauma and suicide prevention. They're a death doula. Like they're providing sensitivity consultation around like what it means to have a game where someone's going to die, but you're going to go deep into roles, which is a really cool thing to just see all that take off. I know. I mean, what are some of your thoughts?
I think it's incredible. It's awesome. First and foremost, the thing that caught my eye was the artwork is beautiful. And, I've always been a big fan of social deduction games. It was definitely one of those things, like you were saying, that kind of like I started with board games and had a board game night where we ran like a game a night or a game a week every until like for like 3 years. And then I was like, hey, how about these ones? But social deduction ones were always, that entry point to a lot of players. Even into the tabletop hobby, let alone tabletop RPGs, which is great. And I think that this is hopefully, and I'm very excited for it because I think it's but bridges a little bit of that gap a little bit more. And I think the more we can kind of bridge that gap, and that we can get some more gamers in the hobby and get into that scene for sure.
Yeah. Hex calls out in the chat that social deduction has a really strong showing in LARP spaces also too. Which I mean, again, it's something that like is a form of like RPG, right? Like it's just live action, but uses very different mechanical structures, and that is a huge one that comes in. Also, the art on that's great. We love seeing a game that's got a really strong regional voice. Also, like love seeing more Filipino creators in the mix. Also too, like Pino voices like tend to like need. Well, they don't need anything other than we've created a horrible hellscape for anybody else to operate in as the U.S. But it is great to see them get the kind of support that they are due. So always excited to see a little bit more of that. And then I want to touch on Gamma a little bit at the end, but let's talk first about the Crypt has opened, because Jeffrey is a like amazing creator. This has been a project they've been working on for a long time. Ahmed, I think you brought this one in, so tell us a little bit about the Crypt has opened.
Yeah, so the Crypt is Open is a like cryptid campy horror TTRPG. It uses its own system, and it was actually brought to my attention through Andrew Bowman, who's doing the graphic design and layout. He had just been on I think the Weird Place stream like moments before I was, so I was like watching this and I was like, hey, I'm in, this is awesome. And it just so happened too that we were also looking for another Michigander artist for Detroit City, so we reached out to Andrew and we're in the talks of that. But it looks amazing, and I'm glad it funded, and it seems like that kind of thing would go over really well with my table. Just the tropes of like a hexmonger and the new wizard, but new is like new metal, new wizard, like that. Like playing at classes and stuff like that are some of my favorite things. When classes don't fall into those tropes, and I'm always on board for those kinds of games when you can kind of play something wacky and crazy and not have to rely on Tolkien to tell you how to play.
I think this is such an undersung product and team. Like Jeffrey's amazing, like Andrew's amazing, Chaotic on his editing. Like Chaotic's got such a great detection for like narrative voice and where you're trying to go, especially with horror tones. Like they're so cued into that. Was super excited to see them on this project also too. But yeah, Jeffrey's been working on this for years. Like it's been cool to just watch the art develop over time, all the different things they've done. Like it's been so extensively play tested. We were trying to get it on for a stream during funding, but couldn't make it work because of all the stuff we had going on. So I'm hoping we can get it on for a stream near release. But like the pulp comic vibes of everything.
Yeah. Silver Age.
Yeah. People always recommend like Savage Worlds when you're looking to do pulp stuff, and I'm like, it's fine. Like it does it, but so does GURPS, right? So like, I mean, like I think Savage Worlds is a little bit more tuned into it, but I love seeing like more bespoke stuff like this to really get like deep into that feel. And I feel like Jeffrey has really built this like from the ground up to do the exact thing that they wanted to do. So Yamil, had you checked this one out already?
Yeah. Like I love, like you said, the comic book covers, like with like Weird Tales style and Tales from the Crypt style. Like all of that is immediately spoke to me. And Ahmed had mentioned it to me when he was on the Weird Place stream. So it was something that was like, yeah, it just stood out. There was so many around that time, because that was like second to last week for Zine Quest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool to see, and like Zine Month is still happening, y'all. I know it's a new month. There are still projects that other than need your support. Merker of Mork's, one of our own projects, is out there. Just finishing up funding also too. But like it's been so great, like I said, and Jeffrey stuff's already in late pledges. So if you missed it, go hop on it, help boost that up a little bit more. Can't wait till it comes out. It's so gorgeous, and I love seeing like. I do also love stuff that because I think about product design all the time. This is a good transition to Gamma. We were just at Gamma and talking to like people who have comics and game stores. Like they're one of the few places that they're never hesitant to pick up a zine because they already know how to like put it on the shelf, display it. But things that really hit those tones, like The Crypt is opened, Every Villain is a Loser, Evil by the Afterthought Committee, Riley, like games that grab that vibe and don't let go, like are such great things to have somebody pick up and just think it's a comic book and then be like, what's this? Oh, this is a game. Like that rips. Mass of the Masses one that we did. But yeah, I love to see more and more of it out there happening also too. Pardon me. Let's close out with a little chat about Gamma and then a little bit more follow up on Tales from the Tape Deck. So have either of y'all been to Gamma before? Do y'all know about Gamma?
I know about it. I've never been, unfortunately.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Gamma is one of our staff, not everyone on staff, Keegan, one of our staff's favorite conventions every year. Keegan doesn't like conventions, and they would love Gamma. Gamma is the game manufacturers, like a trade association. It doesn't mean that anymore. It just means Gamma, the Tabletop Games Association. They changed the name to just Gamma earlier this year. But it is a professional organization for people who work in tabletop games. There's tons of year-long development and learning and advocacy. A lot of the conversations around how tariffs have like wrecked the board game industry and other parts of the global economy. A lot of those in the U.S. have been driven through conversations, not just with Stegmaier Games, but also like with Gamma, because it is a body of people who are kind of universally impacted by that. So there's tons of things it does, but once a year there is an actual trade show. It is a B2B trade show. There are really only two of these that happen in tabletop games: the Gamma Expo and ACD Game Day, which is also very good but smaller. And it is a tight place for board game creators, card game creators, content creators, designers who don't have publishers who are looking for designers, and retailers, distribution, and fulfillment people to all get together. Retailers make up the largest portion of the membership, I think, currently, though publishers are very close. And it started out as more of like a publisher-distributor convention, but with the rise of game stores in the U.S. has become kind of the number one place to go for that. It is not a gatekeepy space, but it is something that like I don't think we talk about enough in RPGs, because I think the question is like, what would be the value for Ahmed or Yamil to go to this? Like, would it be valuable for y'all? And so I think like that's what I just kind of want to dive into real quick. Like, have y'all had questions about Gamma? Like, are you curious about Gamma? I'm not an expert on Gamma, but like this is our second time. We love the convention for some very specific reasons that I'll talk about. But like, what are some things that like y'all seen it, you haven't gone? Like, what are some things that have maybe kept you from going, or that you're curious about for the event?
It moved, right? Or it's constantly.
It's moving from Louisville to Baltimore for the next 6 years, and then we'll see where it goes after that.
Well, that's to my advantage. That's closer to me.
Me also going from a 2-hour drive to a 10-hour drive. Like super excited. Sorry, Ahmed.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably fly into that one.
Yeah,
I mean, you got Gen Con.
Yeah. I got Gen Con, Origins. I drive to all the other ones. I'll be all right with that.
Yeah, but it's about a 4,000 person con, so like it needs a bigger city to host it for the most part. But any big city can host a 4,000 person con for the most part. So yeah, it's moved to Baltimore. The bourbon scene isn't as good. The seafood scene is way better. But yeah. But any thoughts y'all have, or what's kept y'all from going in the past?
I think one aspect is that just the way I picture it seems more, and it's probably wrong, it's definitely wrong, but it seems like those booths at the cons that are like very much like this is a manufacturer and they are trying to get you to, so that they'll make your book or they'll make your board game or they'll, and
like Longpack or E-Star or any of those great companies who reach out if you're looking to sponsor any streams, guys.
Yeah, right.
There are a lot of those there. Like that is not an incorrect perception at all. They are ones that don't come to Gen Con or PAX Unplugged or other things like that. Do go to Gamma also too. Dice manufacturers, there are a million of them who are there who just want to talk to you about, do you want some cool dice to go in your tape deck game? That's, that is the vibe of it also. So you are not wrong about that. But there are a bunch of publishers there also, and the retailers are mostly walking around. And the other big thing is there's a bunch of distributors there. And so like that's one of the other big things I think, which is hard. Like depending on where you're at, most distributors are like, oh, you have one game or two games. That's nice. Like we appreciate you and we love you. Come back to us when you have 20 to 30 games, which most people are not necessarily going to get to. So you end up with like these weird like interlocking things where like Plus One, which does some distribution, or IPR, which doesn't consider themselves a distributor, but everybody else does. Like are kind of this middleware between like, hey, we will take people who have, only a couple titles that we're really excited about or things like that versus traditional distributors like Southern Hobby or I should also put Studio 2 on that list. Actually, Studio 2 will take people who only have a handful of games out and are great also too. They do consider themselves a distributor in a way that a lot of other people don't. But they will take smaller numbers. Southern Hobby, ACD, historically like Alliance and other folks like that, and folks you will never have heard of, and they are just basically people who game stores can buy your stuff from along with everybody else's. Right? They're getting a book, and they all have different models. So some of them, the cool thing is they'll be like, yeah, we'll buy 200 copies of your game at 40% of MSRP, and then we'll resell it to game stores as they buy it. Other ones are like, yeah, we'll hold on to it until game stores want to buy it, and then we'll pay you money, which is us and IPR. I'm not criticizing that model, but it's they all function in very different ways. And then, like I said, there's just thousands of retailers walking around who may come up to your booth and be like, oh yeah, like some retailers actually value not going to distributors. They want to work directly with the creators because they want you to make more money, and you might be able to give them a better offer than a distributor would. Right. Emil, how about you? Have you ever thought about going?
Well, normally I work on like getting projects off the ground, not really so much on the back end. So no, I mean, I would be happy to like take somebody there, like if I'm like helping a company, but most of the time, like I'm a third-party publisher for Goodman Games, so a lot of I go through them, right? Or in case of Tales from the Tape Deck, I can see the benefit from it, especially once if we want to seek to expand it or something like that. But yeah, like you said, like I don't have that library, that discography, as it were, built up quite yet.
Yeah. I'll say the other cool thing about it is there are tons of great professional development workshops. So like the cool thing is it's also like you're never choosing between what's happening at a given moment at Gamma. It's like, workshops are happening. I mean, you are choosing, but it's like workshops and panels are happening. That's all that's happening. If you want to do a workshop or panel, like go pick which one you want to go to. There's tons of great ones. There's tons of not great ones also too. Like be judicious about which ones you want to do. That's it, right? When the expo hall is open, like that is the focus. It is like go meet with distributors, go talk to manufacturers, like go meet the people who can help you make the thing that you want to make. The weirdest thing about it, as much as it's like, hey, this is a business con, that's actually like, I think for people in indie RPGs and a lot of indie creators, it's super freeing because you know what? Everyone is here to pitch or be pitched too.
Yeah.
And so like no longer do you need to feel shy about like, should I tell this person about my thing, right? We're all nerds who are here to nerd out about the business side of getting things done. It's also like, I would say overwhelmingly it's a very mixed space. There's tons of voices from across political and ideological spectrums, but like it's a very open and a welcoming space that like wants you to succeed. Going to Gamma for the first time was like, oh, when you get here, people just look at you and go, oh, like you are taking this seriously. And that's not like they don't think other people are taking it seriously. Like it's just an easy sign of like, you showed up at Gamma, you are trying to make your thing happen in a very specific way. Now, there's all kinds of barriers to that and accessibility issues as far as costs go, and I don't want to minimize any of those. But we went to Gamma the first year. Like we signed up and got Richard and I tickets. we found a place an Airbnb that was like 5 minutes away. And like we got for like, I think $80 for 4 nights. Like it was wildly affordable. It was great. And then we just drove over. So we had like gas costs and that was it. We did the entire thing for like about, not including food, because Richard and I both like to eat and drink well, about $500 to $600 for like the both of us to go and enjoy the experience and be a part of being there. And it was just eminently rewarding to be there. The other things I love about it is stuff doesn't go too late. It's not crammed the entire time. You're not constantly doing things. So there's plenty of time in the evening to just hang out with your friends and the other people in the industry that you like spending time with. If you want to play games, that's great. If you want to sit in the bar and talk, that's great. And there are other people like who you will, like I met people who I've emailed back and forth with for forever, who are just like, oh, this is what you look like as a real human being. And we can just sit down and spend time together talking about cool projects or just spending time together without being so exhausted from the day that there wasn't the ability to do that. So like, I love it. I'm super excited about it being in Baltimore. I would even say like Camille, especially like if you can come up for a day next year or 2 days, like just check it out. See what it's all about. Don't come to the day that's only the exhibit hall. Like pick one of the days where it's like half exhibit hall, half panels, but like it's a super rewarding experience. And like, I do think it's super beneficial. I wanted to bring it up because it is actually a super important thing. And I feel like not enough RPG people actually know about this event or why it might be helpful. And you can just go as a creator. So like if you like having a background, having worked on Chew, having like made games, going and even basically talking to publishers about what are their freelance writer policies? Like what kind of things do they need? Like that kind of, there are people there and there are mixers where people are like hiring full-time positions and they're looking for people to fill them. So like just getting there can be super beneficial if you can manage it.
And what do you think is the breakdown between, it's gaming, right? So there's board games, there are war games, there's RPGs. Like, what would you guesstimate?
Yeah, I would guess that overwhelmingly it's board games and card games. That is just a thing that I think we have to deal with in the space. And then you have like bigger tier RPGs, but like Pirate Borg has like a 2-booth section, like does a great job there. I mean, obviously, have y'all seen their like wooden ship booth? Yeah. So they only had a 10x10, so they brought all the stuff, but didn't think they were going to have enough space for most of it. And then there ended up being like a pillar at the end of their booth, so it was an empty space. So they were able to push all the way over into that empty space with permission. But I mean, like Wizards of the Coast is there. They have this game called D&D. People play it apparently. But it's like
Tunnels and Trolls.
It's kind of like Tunnels and Trolls. I think it's like pre-Tunnels and Trolls. That's what Tunnels and Trolls is built on. I love that Tunnels and Trolls has just leaned into the second ever RPG created as part of their new marketing push. But yeah, it is a really cool event. But like Rowan Rook Descartes is there, Soul Muppet's there. We went this year. Jordan from Goose Poop Game, who I think is a good representation of like, you don't have to be at it. Jordan puts out plenty of games, but you don't have to be at a huge scale to like benefit from being there in some way, shape, or form. You know, I think you've got to figure out what you want to do. And I would not recommend any RPG person buying a booth the first year. I would just recommend going. Like it's going and being there. If you need a space to like hang out, like we're doing 2 booths next year, just because we're like, we want to put some more stuff on the table. We love running demos and doing signings. And even though it's a little bit weird to do that in this space, like having creators in to talk about their games, like, it was weird to have an event where we didn't have a lot of creators who were there, who we've published stuff for. Cause typically like PAX or Gen Con or like, who's here, like whether we carry your stuff or we publish you, either way, we want to have you here. We want to rep you. And it was weird to not have that in the booth. And so next year we're just like, especially since it's in Baltimore, population density for a lot of our designers are closer. But I would love for us to also like be able to invest in getting one of our creators who comes from the global South, like flown in for Gamma also too. Like, I just think that
would be amazing.
It's tremendously worth investing in, that time. If you can manage, it's also in the middle of the work week. So if you've got another job, like it's not at a convenient time for anybody except for game store owners. So, but yeah, we had a blast. Our first year there, just walking around, we added 15 people to our retail lists, like as far as people who want to buy from us in stores, and most of them were like
Nice.
happy to work directly with people. We met Conan French, who is like distributor and wholesaler out of Australia, who's one of our favorite people, who's just going to give you. Cody's just going to give you a pack of Tim Tams when they see you, right?
Yeah.
Like there are so many great people you will meet there, and then like the indie RPG crew, like we just kind of find a space where we're like, here's where we will be every night. People will break out and go to do whatever else they're going to do, but there will be people here, so you can just kind of go find your people at the event, along with meeting tons of new people. So like, it is such a, I think, a pivotal event that I just want to see more RPG folks at. With it moving to Baltimore, like even though that's less like central to the country, I think it'll be a lot easier for people to get into and out of, and would love to see more of the people we work with and other folks come in and out. So Tim Tams is a propaganda that has to be spread. And Quinn will go clubbing with you also too if you come. Quinn Blackwell on our team. We'll keep you out till 4 a.m, and we good Lord, we need somebody to be out with Quinn, because otherwise he tries to get us to go out with him, and everybody else is old, and we just hold Quinn back.
Yeah. We're encroaching on my bedtime right now.
Yeah. There is no bedtime at Gamma. But no, it's great. I wanted to shout it out just because Quinn's out till 4, up at 6. It's because you don't go to sleep those nights, baby. But yeah, it was great. Let's land on a couple of things from Tape Deck real quick, because I want to make sure we give a solid shout out here at the end. Really appreciated having you all on. I'm super excited about everything you've been up to. There are no stretch goals for this. You have 4 volumes, but you also kind of dropped, well, like maybe more in the future. Tell me a little bit about just big sky thinking. Where are y'all? It's the worst question to ask. It's a piece of brain rot. Where are y'all hoping to take Tape Deck in the future?
Wait, this way.
Yeah, there it is. So when we were spitballing of like, all right, well, what do we want to do? What kind of things do we want to tie together for settings and for volumes? And because each volume in itself is like its own setting, its own classes, its own adventures, its own type, we really wanted the synergy with like the music and the vibe to go well together. So we just started making a huge list. That said, we have a huge list. Whether or not they will, come to fruition, or if they're even good ideas, to be that's determined. Still up in the air. But to be determined, exactly. But we've definitely had some really cool and like even people in the community, and there will be methods to do that and to reach out to them, because we want to build a community around this too. But they're shouting out things like there's, and it kind of jumps on the Crypt is Open a little bit, but it's like somebody was like, oh, can I hunt cryptids to bluegrass music? And I'm like, you can. Of course you can. Yeah. You can do anything you want. Let's do it.
Yeah.
But we started talking about it seems fitting to do like a Korean pop music demon hunter. I'm trying to be as legally distinct as possible.
Yeah.
But
demon hunters who come from parts of the world in and around Korea.
Yeah. And I was talking to my buddy, and he wanted to do this like Afro samurai boondocks anime vibe with hip hop.
Love it.
And we are looking for people to do that kind of stuff too, because I'm certainly in no place to do anything that's K-pop Demon Hunter, but we want to find somebody that will and can, and we can work with them and all of that kind of stuff. So when it comes to the music, when it comes to the vibes, there's so much music, there's so many settings, there's so much genre that we can pull from and mix and mash and just kind of vibe together. And that's a big aspect of it. I never thought I'd be making a game with vampires and jazz music.
Yeah.
But here we are, and it's you can really do it with all kinds of things.
I'm just gonna say, Behold does some great banjo work. I'll throw that out there right now.
Yeah.
Hex in the chat says, imagine being a cryptid out in the woods, hearing some bluegrass music, and just knowing your time is done.
It's like the flip too.
That's Duck Dynasty, isn't it?
Yeah. That's it. The duck call, and then the bluegrass starts, and then
Yeah.
you anything on the list that you're particularly excited about?
So I just found out. A friend of ours, Matthew Sargent, who's an awesome
Yeah.
artist. He wants to do ska one because he has a Bard of the Third Wave.
Yeah.
And yeah, he wanted to do a ska soundtrack. So I'm like excited to see what he would come up with. And I'm being prompted off screen to talk about the crossover ability of
Do that.
how modular
It was me.
Tales from the Tape Deck could be. So yeah, like one thing that we're really excited to point out to folks is that you can take your vampire from New Orleans, from that jazz playlist, and take him to the Righteous Right of the Radicals. So we want to encourage that mix of how did they end up here? Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out as the adventure progresses. Maybe not. Same thing with some of the rules where the tape powers that we mentioned earlier, like my favorite one, because it's such a great bargaining chip, is hitting fast forward. So when you hit fast forward, we skip a song, and the story continues, but your table, they get out. It's like a get out of jail free card of that specific encounter, but like I said, the story continues, and they end up somewhere else, and that's up to the person running it to decide where that is.
That's
so you can take that and apply it to any of the other settings, or when you're running, if you're running Madness Motel, you can apply it there and see what happens. Maybe a jump scare, probably, but yeah, like the modular piece of it was part of, to me, it's part of the portability, right?
Yeah.
Where you can take that insert and put it into the cassette tape, and take it with you if you needed that reminder, or take your characters with you in the same case.
And I think like other people, like we talked about this, like one of our common stretch goals is music, and starting to think about like it could be music and a tale from the tape deck. Like you can take whatever the main themes of the game you're making are, and make a tale from the tape deck as a like just little add-on piece that combines with this larger narrative world. And it'd be really cool to see people start just building those out, like Matt's doing with the ska one, right? So I mean, I gotta ask, when's that Luchador adventure dropping?
So I'll give you this it's written. I'm taking, so last year I put out Weird Frontiers. I put out When the Sky Comes Looking for You, a Weird Frontiers adventure, and they have a luchador class. So I'm gonna do Weird Frontiers and Tales from the Tape Deck, and it's an all luchador party. We're gonna release the luchador class as part of the Kickstarter. It's in the bootleg volumes.
Hell yeah.
And I've been showing some of the art because Ahmed, Brad McDavitt from Goodman Games or Dungeon Crawl Classics fame, they've encouraged me to pursue. Oh, and Justin from Severed Books, they all were like, "Hey, you should put out some art."
You should. Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a try. I've been working on that art for it, and I'm really excited for it. It's called Battle Royale at El Funeral. So Battle Royale at the funeral.
Love it. Can't wait. This has been great. We will be have a couple cool things coming up that we want to shout out. We got some actual plays. We got some solo streams coming out later on this month, and next we have next week, I believe, and Quinn can correct me if I'm wrong because I think we're still put out. Should have Now You've Seen It with a couple of our great creators. I think we're going to try to get Jax and Yanni on to talk about their games, Heir of Swords and Bear Witness. I did flip the order of those things when I was talking about that, but they're great creators. And if it's not them, we'll have some other great creators on. Yep, Wednesday the 18th. We're doing it. It's happening. It's been one of our people's favorite formats we've done. It's two creators sitting down who have read each other's games, looking looking for moments of connection, disconnection, and having a mutual interview with each other around that game. People should come back next Wednesday for that. And then we just announced we're going to be casting for a extended actual play of Stone Top, a big game that has been one of the most anticipated games for the last decade for a lot of people, but at least the last 5 years for people who backed it on Kickstarter. It'll be hitting the +1 warehouse soon. The team who put it together is absolutely amazing, but we wanted to put together an extended actual play for that. That's coming in May. We've got some other great things coming up, including some partnerships with our friends over at Parable Games, Grok 2nd Edition, and a bunch of other cool stuff happening right here on the YouTube channel. So keep your eye out for all of those. I don't know where I get good ideas like that from. That one was really just like hey, it's way easier if we make other people interview each other than if we interview each other. But it is such a beautiful, the format is just beautiful. Like, it is something where it's like, maybe it was a good idea I had, but also the format is better than any idea I had for it. So it's been really, really beautiful to watch that. Now you've seen it. Format take shape. If you haven't yet, go check out Tales from the Tape Deck. Give it a look, give it a back. If you can't back it right now, share it on social media. Like, backing it $1 helps notify everyone who follows you on Kickstarter you're doing something. Backing it at a higher level helps make the game get made. But just sharing Tales from the Tape Deck out there is a great way to support it if you can't support it fiscally right now. Yamil, Ahmed, if people want to follow y'all, where are the best places to do that?
Mine would be Blue Sky, Yamil, or Instagram, Yamil Writes, and JoseYamil.com. I have a newsletter. You get a free RPG. Check it out.
Awesome. Ahmed.
I'm at Suffity. Suffity Games is my website, Suffity.com is my website. Suffity Games is where you can find me everywhere else on all of the things, I'm pretty sure. And if not, I'm around. I think I'm the only person with my last name. So
it's so people don't understand.
You forgot about Lindsay.
It's so good. It's so good to be one of the only, like, everybody with my last name. There's sub 200 of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Like, it's just it's one, like, I'm the only one. All right.
There's not a lot of us, and not a lot of us have websites, so it's just me, really.
There we go. Well, this has been Intrepid Merchants here on Plus One EXP with Ahmed and Yamil, talking about Tales from the Tape Deck and other great things happening in the business of game this month, and we'll see you down the road. Bye, everybody.